Today, I'm going to introduce you to Denise and Ron, the powerful duo behind Studio 68 Web Design, and hear how they made the bold decision to shift from running an eBay and Amazon business to building a more sustainable, scalable, work-from-anywhere future with SiteSwan. For years, Denise and Ron were caught in the constant hustle of buying low and selling high, endlessly hunting for deals, managing inventory, and dealing with unpredictable sales from one month to the next. It was a grind that left them asking, is this really the lifestyle that we want? Well, that question led them to SiteSwan, where they saw an opportunity to build a business where they were in control, offering a real service to real local businesses with real recurring revenue they could really count on. In this conversation, they open up about the highs and lows of that transition, how they got their first clients, and the systems they now use to consistently prospect and follow up, including some really interesting things they're doing on Facebook. But what's most inspiring is their vision. Denise and Ron are planning to take their business on the road, literally. They've got a clearly outlined vision of living and working out of an RV, traveling the country, seeing family, and moving about with 100% freedom of time and space. So if you've ever felt stuck chasing the next sale or unsure how to move forward, Denise and Ron's story will show you what's possible when you finally make the decision to create the future that you want and deserve. Denise and Ron, thank you so much for doing this with me today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Definitely.
Thank you for having us.
Yep. Thanks for having us, for sure.
Now, before we get into this, tell us about your background before you even discovered SiteSwan. What were you guys both doing?
Well, I've been working on our eBay business. We've had an eBay business for about 6 years now. And so I've been doing that full time. And we've grown it pretty big, especially during the pandemic and stuff like that.
Right. And, I've been mostly in sales. So, car dealerships, I was a mortgage broker, logistics, done all that stuff in the sales world. We did a little eBay. Then we kind of just kept moving along and came across you guys.
So when you say eBaying, what exactly does that mean? What exactly were you all doing?
Yeah, we have like several different places and ways that we source product. We've sourced from, we've bought pallets and garage sales, estate sales, and then we also have an Amazon store as well. So we have Amazon stuff, but when we for our Amazon store, we just mostly would put on their new product that we would buy. Mm-hmm. But we have a lot of vinyl records. We love music, and so that's our big thing now.
Yeah, on the eBay side, we're kind of actually downsizing it. As we're downsizing the eBay business, we're growing the website business at the same time. We want to be not carrying tons and tons and tons of inventory and kind of get a little free of that. So as we're liquidating inventory, we decided to hold on to our vinyl side of the business, and we've been mostly media. So
basically you find stuff at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
You maybe refurbish it a little bit, clean it up, take pictures, make it look nice, post it onto eBay. And in the case of new product, just send over to Amazon, I presume. Mm-hmm. And then people go on there. They just happen to be looking for that kind of stuff. And if they are, they will locate you, pay you. eBay takes a chunk, you get the rest, and hopefully you turn a profit.
Right. That's basically how it works.
Yep.
I would assume that in the eBay world, there are some ebbs and flows, right? When you can get your hands on really good product with good margins, then you have not such good product with not such good margins. Does that sound about right?
That sounds right.
100%. Yeah, we got up to about 4,000 listings at our peak on eBay. Yeah.
So you're selling a lot of eBay products, up to 4,000 products listed at a time. And then you say to yourself, well, maybe we could be doing something different. What was going through your heads when you were making that transition, and why?
I kind of came across SiteSwan. I was looking at an opportunity, something that, kind of checked all the boxes, kind of like what SiteSwan actually does. Mm-hmm. And I was looking for something low cost entry, something that was scalable, something that was something sustainable.
No inventory?
No inventory. That was huge for us. And so I was just looking for the right business. I was looking at a lot of different things, vending machines, I don't know, and just some sort of a franchise type model where it was kind of set in place. You just had to follow along and do what you need to do to make money. It had to be something that made sense too. And just SiteSwan just checked all those boxes. I mean, it really did. I mean, scalable, sustainable. It's a business that's not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Something that everyone needs, something that everybody wants. And of course, the revenue,
the
residual revenue of it. I mean, it hit all the boxes. So that's what the mindset was, to find something like that to make a switch to for long term.
So while those $1,000 fines were nice, it was offset by a lot of not so good fines. Mm-hmm. And you just said, you know what, maybe I want some more consistency with my revenue, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what you mean by the recurring revenue aspect of it?
Right. We can make a good profit on a lot of products, but once it's sold, that's it. We had a big DJ collection of records. It was just so fun while we found it and was able to go through it. But once it's gone, that's it.
I say all the time, I wish we had that collection back and we could just sell it again.
Start over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once it's gone, it's gone. So it's like a one and done with that stuff.
And Ron, having been in sales, that's not new to you, right? Because you don't get paid residuals on your commissions when you're in sales, right?
Right, exactly. It was like, you can have a good month, make a good sale, and then, it's gone.
So there must have been something else, though. Was there anything else, though, that was driving you to think differently when it comes to how you're going to work from home?
I love doing the eBay, but since we've been doing it for so long, I'm just tired of all the product in our house. And because we have a second bedroom that is all product and office and stuff like that. And
you mean your warehouse?
Yes.
Right.
Warehouse. And so I'm getting tired of doing that. I really enjoy it, but I'm getting tired of it. And we had been talking about going on the road, RV lifestyle. We watch YouTube all the time. And so that is definitely not something we could do. So we are downsizing and trying to get rid of our inventory, but we are hoping here within the next year or two, we are wanting to go full-time RV life, travel across the country back and forth, get out of the cold weather when we need to and stuff like that. And so SiteSwan is going to allow us to do that. And I forgot to send it to you, but you asked me about my tracker, my little tracker here with my boxes on it. Every time I get a new site, I check the box off, and then we have a why and have a couple grandsons that we want to be able to see more often that live out in the middle of the country that we don't get to see. So this will allow.
Let me get this straight. So you show me a bunch of boxes. What do those represent? And why do you have some lines through them?
We know that we need to have at least 50 sites before we could even think about even getting on the road, just because of the income with what we're saving and things like that. We just want to have that income
as a stable base,
right, before we even start, and then keep it growing from there. But every time we get a new website, we put a line through. They're numbered 1 through 50. We put a line through every time, and we have 11 so far. 11, nice. Almost 12. We have 12 here probably the next day or two.
Wow. So let me ask something. Is it a celebratory moment where you got to make sure you're both together to collectively hold the pen and cross off each number?
No, it's not. Maybe later when we get in the 30s and 40s, closer to that 50th. Maybe the 50th one, we'll definitely do that. She just goes and check them all.
And then I show them like, look, another one.
Yeah, I keep it here mentally.
So you've created this physical document that you're keeping on your desk or somewhere nearby your computer, your workstation, and you're keeping physical track of every site you sell. And then you're also have it accompanied by, was that a graphic that you guys worked on and put together? That is essentially your vision board.
Yeah.
Where you're saying
beach, palm trees, cocktail. This is it.
And yeah, beach and waves,
And then
the
that's
sun.
the grandsons, Travis and
That's
Taven.
so cool. Now, how far away are they from you right now?
It's about 12 hours.
12,
About
13
12.
hours, I
Yeah.
think, drive.
So not something that you can justify doing on the regular,
Right,
especially since, it's either a flight or a really long drive.
right.
And you're limited how much time you can spend with them. But
Right.
if you're fully remote all the time, it's limitless.
It's limitless.
Exactly.
We can be anywhere and do a few hours of work and then get out of the RV, lock it up, and go to the beach or whatever
Yeah.
from anywhere.
So what were your first couple of weeks like when you first got started with SiteSwan? How did you navigate the beginnings of starting a brand new business? I didn't hear you once mention you had web design experience. Only
No,
one of you has formal sales experience.
yes, I
So how
don't.
did you navigate those first 3 weeks to not only say, well, how are we going to find this success, but also how are we going to effectively run this business together?
Well, it was mainly her, but when we first started, our first goal obviously was to get our site up,
Mhm.
right? So we can use that to show our credibility so that we can begin to go out and talk to people and have a place to point them to. And then we started working
And we
on things
obviously
like
did
that.
the SiteSwan training.
Right.
We had to take some time to do that.
Yeah.
So for the first week,
That
first
was
week or
mostly
two,
that.
we were working on our, getting our website done and our domain and all that stuff, and looking at the modules and things like that.
Mhm.
And
we decided to start with our warm list.
Mhm.
I was like, well, we got time. We
Mhm.
definitely might be able to rely on him to grab a site. So we, I had one warm potential that I was going to go after. We knew that was going to be a target to kind of offset. Our biggest thing was getting our income from it to match what we
Cover.
had to cover to pay for SiteSwan. Because the quickest you can do that, I think, the more sustainable it'll be for people if they can immediately go out and talk to 3 or 4 or 5 people that they know that have businesses. If they think of that before they even start, then I think they can be at a place where they know they're not losing anything. They're ahead, but not everybody does it that way. I think they should, but that was our goal in that first 3 weeks.
Now, I heard you mention that you did some warm outreach, which is part of the 14-day launch plan, which it sounds like you might have utilized this in some respect to achieve some of the early success. But I'm curious because one of the key elements of the 14-day launch plan is the social outreach, which is basically encouraging you to leverage things like Facebook to be able to find clients. Have you used Facebook at all to find clients? And can you tell me about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
That was her job.
I handle that. I just started searching in the groups, and I was searching for small business, and then I was looking for Columbus. So I was searching and joining all of these groups. Just and it doesn't have to even be anything about small business. I mean, I was just trying to find anything around here that looked like it had a lot of posts per day. So that means it was active, a lot of people in it. And I just started joining all these groups. And right now, I think it's like 210 now. And
And growing.
You're a member of 210 Facebook groups.
mm-hmm. So, and then I post on our own personal Facebook page, and then I also post on our business Facebook page. Do a little bit on Instagram, not a whole lot, but yeah. And I post on Facebook in those groups probably about 3 to 4 times a week.
What type of post will you do?
Oh, I do posts with graphics. Do you need a website or something like that? And then sometimes I just do text. I don't do a graphic with it.
But it's specifically asking a question of, do you need a website? Can I sell you a website?
Sometimes it's more like, did you know that 75% of people judge a business by its website? If you don't have one, you could be missing out on customers and things, so I kind of mix it up and do things like that.
So questions and stuff like that make people think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
You're educating about a specific fact related to or adjacent to the web design industry. You make business owners who see it think, and they say, this person seems knowledgeable about local business marketing. They mention websites. I need a website. Maybe I should reach out. And is that what happens? Or do they just like comment something and then you approach them? What is the direct next step to posting something? Do you just get DMs? How does that work?
It seems like the majority of the people that have contacted us from Facebook have either called us directly or they've filled out the submission form and contacted us that way. So they've gone directly to our Facebook.
Because you'll put the website link in the post.
Not always, because some of the admins don't like you putting links to outside things. So, I'll put in there like, message me below or something like that, or check out our business page, and then they go there and then follow up from there. One person that we're getting ready to do a website for here in about a week or so said she Googled us and she said, you were the first one that came up. And so that's why I'm reaching out. So,
Are you also leading with the idea of offering a free homepage design?
Yeah, I think that's part of the biggest part that attracts people to
see it,
look at it, give it a shot.
See it before you buy.
Do you mention that in the post, or do you wait until they contact you and then make that the next step?
No, it's in there that I do a free demo up front.
Gotcha. Okay. So the real offer or the reason why people are reaching out is because number one, they feel educated by whatever you posted. Number two, they clearly have a need. And number three, you're making an offer of, I'll do this thing for you for free so that you can see exactly what you could potentially get before I ask you for a dime. And that's an effective way of winning the trust of your clients.
Yes.
Right.
Cool. Let me ask you this. So you've proven this method of hitting up a lot of different Facebook groups, putting your offer out there for a free design. What is your follow-up strategy?
I bug the hell out of people. Tell me no, or I want to keep calling and emailing. I don't know. I try to call, email. I text too. If I don't hear back from them, I'll just put them in a task to follow up down the line, because a no right now doesn't mean a no down the road.
Exactly. So, it's just short for not now. That's all a no is.
Right.
Now, so is it safe to say that you are devoting all of your prospecting energy on Facebook, or are you still doing some prospecting offline, so to speak, between warm outreach, cold outreach, etc.?
Offline. We went to Columbus, had a small business expo.
Yeah.
So we went there, and
I think we got a couple customers from there.
Yeah, we got 2 customers from there.
A lot of times,
did you display there? Do you have a table to display there?
No. We would just
attended. Yeah, we just attended, walked around, and talked to different people and stuff. But they had a huge, I don't even know how many of those big 8-foot tables.
Yeah, they had,
and you could just put your business cards out there.
Yeah.
So we put our business cards out, and then we gathered business cards. So if we saw something that we knew we had templates for, we're like, oh, this is a photographer. Oh, this is that.
Right.
So we gathered up all of those cards, and then I brought them home and started cold outreach. And hey, you were at the business expo. I see you have a photography business and don't have a website. So that was one of them that we got from there. And then the other one that we just got this week is a life, health, fitness coach, nutrition coach, thing like that. And she was from there too.
Well, that'd be true. That's not a bad little expo.
Yeah. I mean, how much did it cost you to go to the expo?
It was free.
0.
Look at that. Look at that. Customer acquisition cost 0. Now, so, and when did you go to the expo?
May.
Was it May?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So you go in May. It is now several months later. And you're just finally closing a deal or getting close to closing a deal. Some people in the web design industry, and I think in any industry, Ron, you know this from sales, can very quickly get discouraged by the fact that people don't say yes right away, that
Mm-hmm.
people don't immediately jump on whatever it is the offer is that you have made them. But it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you guys have got some patience and you are willing to wait it out, do the follow up. Can you advise someone who is just getting into this
Hmm.
how you would recommend remaining patient
Mm-hmm.
for that payoff?
Staying patient, stay busy. You put your feelers out there, and if you're busy, people are going to come back to you. But if you're sitting there just waiting on one person to reach back out to you, you're wasting your time. Stay busy, stay focused, and then maybe come back 2-3 months down the road, and you're going to get the
And we
people
had
that
somebody,
that don't.
we had a mover. And that's another thing that I do on Facebook is I don't just do the post and that's all I do. Like a couple of groups that I joined, they won't let me post in there because, I'm not, one of them is like Ohio, Kentucky contractors. So I just use that group and I'll go in there and cold outreach. I'll call them if they have a phone number, email them, send them a DM. So I use that to reach
Stay.
out that way as well. But one of the people that I did reach out to, I use Nextdoor as well. Also,
Oh, cool.
we have a business page on there, so I post on there, and I look for people on there that have cleaning businesses and all kinds of stuff because that's a great place to find service pros in the service industry, like plumbers and things like that. But we had someone that I had reached out to, and they were interested, and then they just kind of ghosted me and just kind of went away. And then all of a sudden, I get a text and said, "Hey, let's do this." And I was like, okay, then came back around. So yeah, what he was saying is you just got to put your efforts out there for every lead that you're working on. But I told him, I said, I think that, some of these people are going to come back around because a lot of them are just busy and they, and some of the other people for some of the services, landscaping and stuff like that, they may see when it starts to get cool and stuff like that, and they're not as busy, they may want to look at a website then. So just keep reaching out. And if it's been a couple months, just send an email and say, hey, I know we spoke a couple months ago. I'm on a website. Just wanted to see, if now is the right time, if you're still interested and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that especially in the world of web design, when you're dealing with business owners who go through their own ebbs and flows, who go through different seasons,
Mm-hmm.
that they will be ready at different times. That's
Mm-hmm.
totally outside of your control.
Mm-hmm.
But being patient and continuing to stay busy, that's a great point, Ron, is that it's one thing to be patient, it's another thing to just sit on your thumbs and wait.
Right.
Patience is different than waiting.
Right.
Right. And that's why I think it's important to have a good follow up system too, because that's part of the waiting. You can wait because I done thrown them into a, tickler file, for lack of a better term, that I know that I'll be able to hit that person back at a certain period of time.
Right.
Yeah. Now, in those Facebook groups, you mentioned how you'll do direct outreach to some of the people in the group. Do you just go after the people who are actively posting? Or do you have another means to see all the members and you reach out to them individually? What do you do?
Individually. Like just when I just scroll through and when I see people that are actively posting.
Okay,
I use Angie's List as well. Angie's List
cool,
is another one that I use because
cool.
if they're paying for advertising on Angie, they know they got to spend money
Hmm.
Yeah,
to get themselves out there.
websites are very expensive to advertise on.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Hmm.
expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I've heard you talk a lot about social. I've heard you talk a little bit about warm outreach. Doing any cold calling?
I cold call.
Especially in the beginning, we had a list of all the businesses that we drove by.
Yeah,
A lot of drive
we have a
by.
list before we even started. We knew we were going to start SiteSwan. We would drive around and you would be driving. I'd have a notebook with me and would be like, "Oh, look at that place." And I'd look it up.
Yeah,
No
check that.
website. We'd write it down.
We just kept writing them down before we even joined, and we knew what we were going to do. Watching some YouTube, just kind of keeping up with what you've been doing. So once we actually pulled the trigger, we knew we wanted to get to a certain number as fast as we could, so that it was sustainable for us.
That's cool. I love the idea that you've prepared ahead of time because I think that shows that you're the type of people who won't get into anything that you haven't studied,
Mm-hmm.
which makes for a much faster start. Like if people wonder about how someone can get into selling double digits number of sites in a relatively short period of time, it all has to do with the amount of preparation that you're doing, the amount of work that you're putting into it, time you're investing, so that you're
Mm-hmm.
um, mentally prepared for success. And that's something not a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people talk about too. Like I'm sure you've envisioned yourself quite a few times crossing off number 50 on those
Mm-hmm.
boxes.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important because when you can visualize what success looks like, when you can visualize yourself achieving that goal, which I think is really important, you have that sort of miniature vision board of what success looks like to you, and that's traveling the country.
Mm-hmm.
That is fuel for when motivation kind of goes down a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because we have some days where all we want to do is just go out there, call, 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 sell, 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 push, push, push. And then we have some days where we're just like, oh, I'm not really feeling it. And you're lucky because it's your business, so you can have those days if you want to. But when you have that thing to look at, that reminder about what it is you are working toward, why you're doing this to begin with,
Mm-hmm.
when motivation isn't there, you have that reminder to
That is
just do the work. Just
mm-hmm.
do it.
Just do it.
Tell me
Great.
this. Web design, for me at least, can be a lot of fun. It could be interesting. You run into businesses you didn't even know exist before.
Mm-hmm.
Any stories that you guys would want to share about one of the sites that you sold that really stands out to you?
Yeah, probably the tire shop for me personally. I know she's probably got one too, but I told her I'm out here too, so send me out. I have some sales experience. Some send me out to meet with some people face to face.
So it's like when Denise doesn't get someone to answer her, she just sends Ron out.
Send me
And
out.
he just goes out and,
I'll go and knock a door down.
why aren't you picking up her phone calls and answering her emails?
Right. Because I always feel like once you've done a certain amount of work for somebody in any sales, I have the right now to get a no out of you. You're not going to ghost
Yeah.
me anymore because
Yeah.
you asked me to do something for you now. And if I said I was going to do it for free, I'll do it. But once I've done it, now let's get a result. That's your right as a salesperson.
Mhm.
So we had tire shop and the guy Sean's tires repair or whatever he's called. Um, he says, "No, I don't want to do anything over the phone. I want somebody to come out. I want to do business face to face." Okay, no problem. So basically, I went there, found them. Of course, they busy running around and doing everything 100 miles an hour, and I got his attention enough time, and I had a tablet, went and showed him everything, was like, hey, this is boom, boom, boom. Here's you guys. This is what I can change. I can put this here. And just physically went through a homepage with him, got him to agree right there. And I said, look, because I said, you told me to come out here. I said this. So I passed four or five tire shops along the way. And I kept some of the names in my mind so I can spit them off to him. And I said, look, I passed King's Tire Shop, this one, that one. I said, somebody's going to get a website today. But, I'm here with you first because we talked to you. You said you was interested. You said you really wanted one. And so, he was like, yeah, I do. And so he said, all right, I'm going to pay today. And eventually later that day, he did pay. So, it worked out pretty good. But then I went back actually to them just to take physical pictures of them while they were working. And oh man, they loved that day when I came and took pictures, the workers, and everybody was like, just like lining up and like, okay, hold on.
He said one guy was like, get me doing this.
I love it. And that's the type of thing too, where like, I think one of the cool things about you guys traveling is that you'll be able to open yourself up to new opportunities to sell locally
Mm-hmm.
as you travel around. If you decide I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna, pitch a tent here for 6 days, you're a temporary local, and you can
Right.
go out and offer your services anywhere in the world you decide to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and
That's
the
huge.
idea of meeting face to face, and that could, hey, business expense.
Right.
Hey, we got to drive
Exactly.
to a client,
That would
and
be
there
business.
you
In the
go.
state. Right. Right. I thought about that a lot, actually. Like, actually just unhooking, getting in the car and hitting some spots, or as we're going there, seeing different stores, especially in those more like more rural areas,
Yeah,
they don't have a clue
sure,
to make.
exactly.
So
Let me ask you this. I'm sure you've envisioned this a little bit. How different would life be on the road, not tied down to physical inventory, not tied down to a physical place you have to go to work? What is, I mean, describe what that would be like.
Oh my gosh.
you talk. uh,
We have like a favorite spot down in Panama City Beach. We've
ooh,
already pictured ourselves like, oh, we could just do a little work and then get out and walk over here.
walk to the beach.
There's like a little donut coffee shop across the street, and then the beach. So it'll be amazing, and I can't wait for it to happen.
If you heard someone express some hesitation about starting a web design business, what would you advise them? They're feeling hesitant, they're not sure. What would you tell them?
Don't wait to start. You always say that. That always stuck with me. It's like, don't hesitate. So as soon as we were able and ready, it was let's pull a trigger. Get started as soon as you can, because you do lose a lot of time if the longer you decide to wait. You know, jump in as soon as you can. Do your 14-day. Learn as much as you can, and be aggressive. Don't be scared of reaching out to people, talking to everybody that you can talk to about having a website, having a business. Let them know what you do, and you're going to find that once you get that first customer, then it's going to snowball, and you get that momentum going.
Right, because I was so excited when we got the first one. I was like, oh my gosh, we really got one. And then,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a salesperson, and so I really don't like cold calling, but now I'm to the point where I just do it, and I've been hung up on. I'm not interested. Click, and I'm like, okay, but it doesn't even bother me anymore. I mean, I
Right.
hated picking up the phone and calling people, but I'm like, I'm not like that anymore at all.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because I do feel like you have to just go out there and get it. You got to create your own future,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Exactly.
Right.
that's great advice. Just do the thing you've been thinking about doing, because failure to start is worse than experiencing some failures of doing it. Because at
Right.
least if you do it and you fail at it for whatever reason, you at least know now.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to failure of ever doing it to begin with, you're left wondering, what if?
Wondering. Right.
Yeah.
And that's a very painful feeling to have. What
Mm-hmm.
if?
Right.
If you could go back and tell yourself one thing when you started this journey, what would it be?
I don't know. Do you have something?
Everybody goes, what if it doesn't work? As opposed to what if it does? There's two sides. It could
Yeah.
not work, but it also could work. You ever thought about that? Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you thought about putting the work in, if you put the work in, it could work.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's human nature, Ron, to have a fantastic imagination when it comes to negativity.
right.
A fantastic imagination.
People go
Like,
to that first.
you hear someone's in the hospital, your imagination goes to the worst possible thing, and we dwell on that.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of using that same amount of energy to imagine the positive,
What could?
the difference in how you go about your life is directly impacted on how you imagine the thing going. Why imagine the worst when you can imagine the best?
Right.
Exactly. You don't know what you're going to be able to achieve, but you got to give it a good effort too. You can't
Yeah.
just sit there. My daughters are like really successful, and I think a lot of people feel that just happened. No, because I was putting the foot in the behind and staying on top of them, and that's why it was a journey. It wasn't just something that it was supposed to happen. It was made to
But I have a
happen.
feeling, Ron, it wasn't just about you saying, go do this, I'm telling you to do it. I have a feeling that you instilled in them some beliefs about what they are capable of and
Mm-hmm.
beliefs about what they deserve
Mm-hmm.
that lots of people don't instill in their kids.
Right.
And I think you deserve a lot of credit for that, because sometimes the biggest thing that limits someone's success is what they perceive
Their beliefs.
as their ceiling, as what they're most capable of. But if you are able to instill in your children that there is no ceiling, that you are unstoppable, that you can literally do whatever you want to do,
Hmm.
that is one of the most powerful gifts we can give our children. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I instilled a little bit of that in her because, like I said, she wasn't this type of salesperson to cold call and do
Mm,
this sort of thing. And I think now that I've pushed her a little bit in that direction, and then she sees for herself that, oh, wait a minute, it isn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's not as scary as I thought it would be. Um,
exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Well, you guys have a really exciting story, a really exciting goal, and a real good mission. How could people follow you along this journey if they wanted to?
The website, studio68webdesign.com
Mm-hmm.
is the website.
And it's Studio 68 Web Design on Facebook as well.
Facebook, yep.
Cool. I assume you're going to have a vlog set up of some kind where you're going to document your journey of operating as a web design firm on the road out of an
Mhm.
RV.
Yes, we
Correct.
are. Yeah. And can you put the link in this video?
Cool. We will put it in the description. Everyone who's watching, look down below, follow Denise and Ron on their upcoming journey. Awesome. Well, you guys have been such a delight to talk to. It's been great getting to know you and your story, hearing how you've been able to find some recent success. And I think what your goal is and how you've been keeping track of it and what that end result is going to look like is so inspiring. Your story about getting on the road, doing your thing from every part of this country is super inspiring. And I cannot wait to be a subscriber of your
Cool.
YouTube channel and watch as you guys make this a success.
Yeah, we can't wait.
You'll get to see the background, the inside scoop. It's gonna be a cool channel.
I can't wait to be a part of that. Denise and Ron, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you guys find the success in that 50th site. When you do, we should celebrate together.
Definitely. We'll bring SiteSwan along with us too.
Yes. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.